Hello, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Feast Your Peepers. This is episode 30, and as promised, as I've been saying in my recent videos, I've been wanting to do a video showcase on my Amityville 2, the Possession collection, yeah? So, here we go. The moment has finally arrived. I was waiting on a few bits and pieces coming in the post. They arrived yesterday, thankfully. They weren't lost in the post like I thought they were going to be. Hallelujah, praise the gods. They turned up yesterday. So now I've got all my little bits and bobs accumulated together here. It's not a huge collection, but there's some novelty pieces in here that I think people might get a kick out of if they are fans of this particular movie. I know it's my favourite of the franchise. I mean, my God, I do not know how many installments there is at the Amityville franchise by this stage. Probably up to about 90 odd fucking installments by this stage. God knows, we've had Amityville in space, Amityville down the road, Amityville in the shop, Amityville Candelabra, you name it, we fucking had it. We've always had something with that name attached to it and make a film out of it. God knows why, but yes. Anyway, I digress. Let's get on to the collection. Now, little background to this. First time I've seen this film, I think would have been in around the summer of 82, 83. I believe it was the same summer where I saw Halloween 1 and 2 back to back on VHS in my cousin's house. Sometimes I would stay at their place at weekends during the summer holidays as a kid, and we would rent out VHS horror movies, and this was, Amityville 2 was one of the favourites, yeah. I'm near sure it was the same summer, and I remember, thinking back to those days, the only films that actually really scared me in my life probably have been Halloween 1 and 2, when I first saw them back to back. That petrified me. I couldn't sleep that night in my cousin's house. And Amityville 2, The Possession. This film has a really insidious vibe to it the whole way through. It's quite it's a film full of dread. It's there's something off with this movie, yeah. The first one's a classic. It's helmed as a classic. I get it. But for me, Amityville 2 just edges it out. It's a far better movie for me. It's just that much more darker and twisted. The subject matter, bit of incest and stuff going on. So it does go there. First day, it was very daring, and I praise it for that. What else can you say? Some of the special effects, practical effects in this movie were outstanding. The bubble, the bladder effects, the condom was put below the skin and they blow them up full of air, and the arms bubbling and the necks bubbling out. Very inventive guys back in the day. God bless practical effects. But anyway, I've talked enough about the background. Let's get into the collection. So, first up we have, now this has got a little story attached to it. This is the first ever version I've ever owned of this film on DVD. Yeah, and I bought this while on tour with my old band when I was living in Germany. We were going to do a show in Italy, and we were going through Austria. And we were going through the Austrian Alps into the Italian Alps to go through into Italy to play this show. And we stopped off at a gas station, petrol station, yeah, to get sandwiches or some shit to eat, yeah. And inside that gas station, they had a little carousel of DVDs beside the counter where the till was, yeah. And this was one of them. And on the same day that I bought this, I also bought Tobe Hooper's Death Trap. Yes, so that's where that came from, the Austrian Alps. Now, there's no extras on this, like a trailer. I think that's about it. It's a bare bones edition. There isn't much inside from what I recall. There's a little like inlay card, that's about it. There's not much to it. But that was the first edition I ever owned on DVD. Yeah, so that's that one. Next we have, this is a UK DVD edition. Nothing special about it, no extras on it. This is actually still sealed. because I already had the other version that I bought in the Alps, yeah. So I didn't bother opening this one. I got this for like £1 in a bargain bin. So I just bought it because it was £1, yeah. So that's that one. Next we have the US Collector's Edition. This is a 1-disc version, but it comes with art cards and a little booklet inside, and the auto commentary is by Kim Newman and Alan Jones. Some of you guys will probably know those guys from doing documentaries and commentaries and loads of titles over the years. So I'll show you the little bits and pieces inside. So that's a little book there. That's the front of it there. And there's a still there of Sonny, looking very creepy. There's some more stills and an overhead shot of the Amityville house there, as it looked back in 1974. You've seen this picture in very many Amityville related documentaries over the years. More stills there, the house, and the bodies being brought out of the house. Such a crazy case, that overall. How the hell none of those, like there was 6 victims shot dead. He basically, you know, DeFeo Jr. shot his entire family, and how none of those family members woke up with the noise of that gun going off is beyond me. At 3:15 a.m. on November the 13th, 1974. And they were all found facing downwards, the entire family. They were all sleeping on their bellies. Very odd. But anyway, there's a shot of Sonny there towards the end of the movie when he's being exorcised by the priest. And there he is there with the priest. And there's his little brother and sister in the kitchen with all the stuff. Well, there's poltergeist activity, and cutlery and plates and knives and forks are flying around the kitchen. And there we have Diane Franklin there as his older sister, well, younger sister, but the oldest of the sisters. Burt Young there, and Britannia Alda, the very lovely Britannia Alda, who was also in The Deer Hunter and Vigilante, starring Robert Foster, among many other films she was in. And there's a picture of the house there. It's pretty cool with the famous windows lit up there, illuminated. Pretty cool. So yeah, that's the US DVD version. Right, next we have, this is the Spanish Blu-ray. Now there's nothing much on this regarding extra features. It's just the film, and it runs at 105 minutes. Some of them say 104, some of them say 103. There's been a couple of scenes cut out, the lost soul scene, which is actually included in the US DVD version. So there we go, there's the back. I don't think there's any inlay cards, no. It's just standard Blu-ray, nothing inside there. And then here we have, this is one of the items I was waiting on coming through the post. This is a German Blu-ray. It says uncut here. Blu-ray version, German version, and there's no extras on this one either. I don't think there's any, and no, just a reversible sleeve, and there's the disc. No extras on this one. I shall check out the picture quality in that later. I haven't watched it yet. And this is the second one I was waiting on coming in the post along with that one, the German one. This is another Italian version. This is the Blu-ray Italian version. And the reason why I bought this version is because it has an interview with Damiano, I can't say that guy's name. Damiano, and it also has a commentary track with Alexandra Holzer, who wrote the novels of the Amityville Horror and Amityville 2. Yeah, like I have the novels there somewhere. Very good books they are, actually. They're actually the original prints I have from the 70s. So that's the, what's that I say, that was Italian version on Blu-ray. So now we're getting into the the speciality stuff. So this one, this is a Betamax cassette. Yeah, so back in the day, if you're an old fuck like me, we had Betamax tapes and we had VHS tapes. So this is the pre-cert Betamax copy, which is in pristine condition. And the story behind this one is, there's the inside, we look at the cassette, there it is there. That's the cassette. So the story behind this one is, as you can see, there's a sticker on here, yeah? The sticker says, property of D. McCulloch, News Agent Video Library, 182 Collinsbrook Avenue, Belfast 4. And it says, please rewind tape. Now, I used to rent videos out from that very store back when I was a kid in the early 80s. And this copy I have in my hands, I found on eBay about 2 or 3 months ago, yeah? There was a guy selling a copy of Bloody Birthday, which is a slasher film that I love from 1981. And he was selling a copy of the VHS. So I happened to go into his profile, on his eBay profile, and check what other stuff he had for sale. And this was in here. And I seen the sticker and went, that's the very store, that's the very copy that I would rent out. So 40 odd years later, I have the very copy that I rented out back as a kid in my hands again. How cool is that? Yeah, it's came round full circle, folks. So there you have it. That is an original pre-cert Betamax tape from the video store that I used to rent out all those years ago. And I fell upon it on eBay. And it's back in my hands. How cool is that? Yeah. So next we have the VHS pre-cert UK edition. And this is in immaculate condition as well, considering its age. It's a pre-cert, and as you can see here, it is signed by Tommy Lee Wallace. Yeah. I met Mr. Wallace back in Manchester 2024 at the For the Love of Horror Con, and he very graciously signed this for me. He was a lovely man, a delightful man to meet, very nice to talk to. He was surprised to see me bringing this to get signed. He said, I don't really sign stuff by that film very often, and he was intrigued by the artwork, because there's different artwork in the US for this film. Yeah, so he was happy to see this copy, and he signed it for me with this funky purple lilac pen going around Sunny there. Pretty cool. Yeah, so that's one of my prized possessions. Yeah, Mr. Tom Lee Wallace, who wrote the screenplay for this. Yeah. Next we have the Laserdisc, Thorny MI Laserdisc copy, Japanese version. And there's the back, some brilliant stills there of the movie. And inside we should have a little inlay card, yeah? Yeah, we do. There we go. There we have it. Some cool stills there from the movie. Awesome stuff. And it's obviously all in Japanese. So that's the Laserdisc version, folks. I got that off eBay. Oh, probably late 90s, early millennium sort of time. I didn't buy it when it came out on Laserdisc. This was bought later. So that's the Laserdisc version. Now, this is another little novelty. This is an exhibitor's campaign book by EMI. Yeah, this would have been sent out to video rental stores, cinemas. It's essentially, it's a catalogue of advertising materials that they could purchase, so they could hang up on the walls of their establishments to promote the movie. There's like posters there, and there's stills and lobby cards, and it actually gives you price, and also has like adverts for like newspapers if you want to advertise, you know, where it's showing. And then it has the prices on here that tells the, you know, the companies how much it's going to cost them to advertise the film. Like for example, we have here black and white stills 10 by 8s available free of, oh, they're free of charge from EMI. We also have copies of production notes and synopsis are available on request from NSS. Hanging cards, a limited supply of hanging cards are available on request. Trailers U version and X version, trailers can be ordered direct from NSSS. Colour still 10 by 8s, set of 8 available at $175 per set, as illustrated below. That's the lobby cards there. Now I've seen these lobby cards on eBay, they're selling for about £50 to £60, yeah. So back in the day, you could have bought them for £1.75, folks, to have them sitting in your cinema foyer or your, you know, video or VHS rental store or whatever. So there you have it. A little catalogue of Amityville 2 memorabilia and advertising products. Quite novel, don't you think? Yes. So, lastly, I have, this is a painting done by the fabulous Graham Humphreys. Now, a lot of people will know his work. He's done so many iconic posters over the years for movies. He's a UK artist. He burst onto the scene with the original Evil Dead. And I actually have a copy. I've got an original copy of that poster from 1981-82. And I have it signed by 3 cast members of the Evil Dead. It's an original VHS store promo poster. It was over here. But Graham Humphreys was known for the Evil Dead. He also done the UK version of Nightmare on Elm Street, which is a gorgeous illustration. Beautiful. It's my favourite artwork for the original Elm Street. So this was painted by him. This was for An Evening with Diane Franklin, yeah, who came over to London to do a watch-along viewing of Amityville 2 The Possession and a little talk, Q&A on her career, yeah. So this took place on Tuesday, 15th of November 2022 at the Phoenix Art Club in London. So Graham Humphreys painted this poster for the event, and he very kindly got me this signed by her, to call Love Diane Franklin. He painted this beautiful advertising poster and went to the event and got her to sign this for me, and he very graciously posted this over to me. Now, you'll see up behind me here, there's a gap here. That's for that print, yeah, I just showed you. So all these prints here, you can see, I'll turn this around a bit, going along over here, they're all by Graham Humphreys, yeah. An outstanding artist, one of my favourites. He's done a bunch of, you know, Blu-ray, 4K covers for Arrow Video, 88 Films and such companies, yeah. So yeah, that's one of my prized possessions. It's signed by Diane Franklin. Beautiful print, love it. Now there's one last thing I want to show you before I go. I'll just jump out here and grab this. This here is the Amityville Murders. It's a film that came out in, I think, 2018. Yes, 2018. And it stars Diane Franklin with a cameo by Burt Young, who were both in the original Amityville 2 The Possession. Hence why I bought this. It's not a great film because it's a low budget, straight to DVD title, yeah. But it's basically based around the original DeFeo murders. Now, I personally think, I hope someday somebody would do a proper film, a proper company, proper actors, proper director, bigger budget, and do a proper film and dive into that case, the original DeFeo murders in 1974. I think that would make for a very good film. Yeah, a period piece set in 1974, revolving around the murders of the DeFeo family. There's so much you could dive into. I mean, in actual fact, you could turn that into maybe a 6-part mini-series. The story of the DeFeos, go into the whole background of the mafia connections with his father and his uncle, Ronnie DeFeo Jr.'s uncle and his father, and, you know, flesh all that out and turn it into a 6-part mini-series or something and dive into all that, yeah. And then lead into the murders and the trial afterwards and all that stuff, yeah. But this is basically about the murders. You know, it's not so much like a possession movie like Amityville 2 is. It's more grounded in reality. But yeah, it's not a bad film. It's worth a watch if you're a fan of Amityville 2 The Possession, because Diane Franklin's in it and has a cameo by Burt Young, one of his last appearances in a movie before he sadly passed away. So yeah, there you go, folks. Just a wee side note there. So I'm now, 20 minutes in here, so I'm going to let you go because everybody's got things to do, as do I. This has been a pleasure to finally get this done for you. I know I've promised it for a long time, but here we have it. And I hope you enjoyed that little peek into my little humble abode here. So that being said, remember, folks, don't be a dick. Life's too short. Embrace life, embrace movies, embrace music, embrace art. Bring it in, suck it all into your life, because my God, there's so much negativity out there. You got to bring the positivity for yourself. Yeah, whatever makes you happy, whatever your happy place is, dive into it. Yeah, and the hell what people think or what they say. Be you. Okay, I think we can all agree on that. So that being said, thank you very much. Don't forget to tickle the like button, punch the subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave your comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on the movie, if you've seen it, what impressions it left on you, all that good stuff. And with that, I shall say goodbye. Cheers, thank you, and I'll see you again very soon. Mr. Murdy signing out. Bye.